Can you hear
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we've heard you this. We've
Okay,
heard you this
thank
whole
you.
time struggling.
And good morning, Josh.
Good morning.
And welcome to the Committee of Adjustment. I believe this is your initiation. Chris, have you explained to him all the things that are required to be on the?
No, we're live now. We can start the meeting.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Committee of Adjustment meeting for Friday, December 17, 2021. My name is Tom Hill. I'll be chairing the meeting today. And this morning there is a public meeting scheduled for one consent application.
Click on the camera.
I'll briefly summarize the procedure to be utilized for the meeting. First, the Secretary Treasurer will advise the committee as to when, how, and to whom notice of each of the applications was circulated. Next, each of the applicants will be considered separately, and that won't be difficult. Planning staff will advise the purpose and effect of the application and provide any other information that is relevant. The Secretary Treasurer will summarize any correspondence on file, and from there the applicant may make a brief presentation if they so choose. And the public will have an opportunity to speak to the applications as well. After the public forum, the committee will then deliberate on the proposed application and consider a motion to pass, defeat, or defer the decision. The consent application being considered this morning is B21-12-15-17 to 20 for a private lot with no fixed address and 565 Georgian Bay Road. Before we begin, are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Okay, seeing none.
You see one.
I'm sorry.
Chair Hill, the mayor is declaring pecuniary interest.
Yes, I have pecuniary interest in one of the items on your agenda, namely 4A.
Very well. I will ask Marcia to make sure she has the proper documentation for that declaration.
I do.
And I have a motion to accept and adopt the agenda for today's meeting, moved by Member Ferguson, seconded by Member Matthews. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you very much. The motion is carried. And before we begin, I would ask the Secretary Treasurer to advise of any correspondence at this point.
Notice of each of the applications was sent by first-class mail to the respective owners and assessed persons within 120 meters, 500 meters, or 800 meters, and to those persons and agencies likely to have an interest in the application. The notices were sent at least 20 days prior to this morning's meeting. Included in each notice was an explanation of the purpose and effect of the application and a key map showing the location of the property. Other relevant information may also have been provided. These circulations were provided in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act 1990.
Thank you very much. Again, our first and only application this morning is consent application B21-12-15-17 to 20. And could we have the planner, please?
Thank you. I will share my screen. Just give me 1 second. And let me know if everyone can see it by a quick thumbs up.
Yep, that's good.
Thank you. Well, good morning, Chair, Committee, all those in attendance today. Today we will be discussing B21, 12 to 15, and 17 to 20. 1427992 Ontario Limited, also known as Woods Landing Marina, is the applicant for B12 to 15. Peter Coutier is the applicant for B21-17-20. And the agent for B21-12-15 is also Peter Coutier, representing 1427992 Ontario Limited. The address associated with these applications, one is a lot with no fixed address, roll number 4465-0300-37023, and 565 Georgian Bay Road. To provide a brief overview, the application for consent proposes a private right-of-way to legalize access to 4 existing residential properties that are accessed by road along Courtier Lane. Courtier Lane extends across 2 privately owned parcels of land, and approval of these applications will not result in the creation of any new lots, development, or alterations. So I first want to show you a map from internal mapping of the general location of the 2 lots. To the left, you'll see no fixed address, roll number 4465-030-037-023, and to the right, 565 Georgian Bay Road. And the next image I'll show you is a more detailed mapping of the zoning. The lot with no fixed address is zoned open space type 1. It also has pockets of environmentally protected provincially significant wetland and 1 pocket of environmentally protected wetland. And the lot known as 565 Georgian Bay Road is zoned marine commercial type 1 exception 2. And it too also has 2 pockets of environmentally protected provincially significant wetland. As you'll see, abutting the lots to the west and south are several residential lots zoned shoreline residential. These images you see before you indicate the general outline of Coutier Lane that span across the 2 lots in question. And in blue, you'll see the residential lots that are seeking legal right-of-way access to Coutier Lane. So Development Services Report 2021-89. Staff are recommending approval of the application subject to the recommended conditions. The proposed right-of-way will provide the owners of 147, 237, and 273 Coutier Lane and a private lot with no fixed address, roll number 4465-030-037-035 on Coutier Lane, legal access to the residential properties over lands known as 565 Georgian Bay Road, and a private land holding to the west with no fixed address. No new lots are being proposed and no new development is being contemplated as part of these applications. Committee approval will provide legal access for residential properties that would not otherwise be permissible without the approval of these planning applications. In review of the Provincial Policy Statement 2020, District Official Plan, Township Official Plan, and Zoning Bylaw, planning staff are of the opinion that the subject applications conforms to the and does not conflict with any of the applicable planning policy documents. And last, I will direct to the recommended conditions. 1, that municipal tax be paid in full, that a legal description and a reference plan be provided to scope where the right-of-way will be registered, that a copy of the electronic registration and preparation draft deed for the easement be provided to the Secretary Treasurer, that all fees and disbursements, legal, engineering, planning, if any, incurred by the township with respect to these applications be paid for by the owner and by the applicant, and then the conditions set out herein shall be completed within 1 year of the date of the decision of the committee. If there are any questions, I'm happy to help, but that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Josh. Madam Secretary, has there been any correspondence on this application?
I'll just wait for Josh to stop sharing his screen there. Perfect. 2 letters of no objection were received from the District of Muskoka and Hydro One.
Thank you very much. I notice the applicant is present. Is there anything you would care to add to the planner's comments, Mr. Coutier?
Thank you very much, Chair Hill. Only a couple of comments. One is this is a near identical to the application that some of you saw. Now it's almost 4 years ago. The only difference is that these 4 particular properties did not participate in the easements that were granted at that time and now chose to do so. And for those who are curious, that leaves only one property that does not have a permanent easement. Well, if this is successful, then that will only leave one property that does not have a permanent easement over the lane. And who knows, sometime in the future, I may get to do this one more time.
Very good. Thank you. I don't see any members of the public in attendance, and so I'll close the public portion of the meeting and bring the application before the committee for any questions or comments. And we'll begin with Member Matthews.
Thank you, Chair Hill, and thank you, Member Coutier or Applicant Coutier, for your explanation. I was just a little confused because, yes, I remember 4 years ago, and I think 2 years ago, we were reviewing this. So your clarification helps with my decision making. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Ferguson.
This is a very straightforward application, very similar to what we saw a couple of years ago. Certainly, if I was one of these property owners, I would certainly want to have legal access to my property. So I don't have a problem with this at all, and I fully support the application.
Thank you, Member Ferguson. Member Demkiw.
Thank you, Chair Hill. I don't see any problems with this application. I think, to me, it's similar to the one we did a month or 2 ago on Portage, where there were several places trying to get access, legal access. That being said, I'm okay with this application.
Thank you, Member Demkiw. Member Jarvis.
Yeah, I have no issues as well with this. I'm just curious, so I have a question, and maybe Mr. Coutier can help me with this. If you have, obviously it's Coutier Lane, so it's Coutier property. Do you have to represent all property owners as they apply for usage of the road, or can't they apply on their own for that usage?
The way I understand it is because the easement, some of the easements in front of you will go over the property that I own, that it's up to me as the property owner to apply. And I'm also applying on behalf of the marina, Woods Landing, their portion of the lane. And there's a long story behind that, but once upon a time, my mother owned the marina, and one of the conditions of sale would be that the marina was going to grant easements over their property for anybody that was on Coutier Lane. So I'm just sort of fulfilling that intention, be it a dozen years later.
Okay, that clears that up. But and thank you. Yeah, I have no objections.
Thank you very much. Member Caddo.
Yeah, no problem here. No objections. I support this.
Thank you. And just one question for Mr. Coutier. Where there's one property owner that does not have access to the over the easement, what sort of situation does that present? Do they are they able to buy a yearly permit or something, or how do they access their property if they don't have legal right of way?
Yes, no, everybody who do not have a permanent easement basically apply for an annual easement. For that, we don't need consent from the township because it's not anything that's registered on title. These easements that we've applied for now, permanent ones, will be registered on title. So the remaining one property owner who does not have a permanent easement is expected to pay an easement fee annually if they wish to use the road.
And is there a fee to the town to bring forward this consent application?
Well, I had to pay thousands of dollars to get this in front of you, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, so the additional one that's required will be the same process all over again. Okay, then that's fine. Thank you very much for your comments. I have a motion.
Mr. Hill?
Yes,
Sorry. Can I just ask just one other point of clarity to Mr. Kuchar, if I may?
yes, please proceed.
Thank you. Through you. I guess there's no legal way that you can just, that last holdout, shall we call it, or a single property that isn't part of this application, you can't include it without their permission?
Well, maybe I could, but it would be up to their lawyer to register it, and I refuse to do it on their behalf without them willing to pay for the costs involved.
Fair enough. Yeah. It just seems unfortunate, right? But I'm
It's
sure you feel the same way.
And they know my frustration.
Yes.
No, let's call it disappointment.
Thank you for that clarity.
Thank you. I have a motion moved by Member Caddo, seconded by Member Demkew. Be it resolved that the Township of Georgian Bay Committee of Adjustment hereby grants provisional approval to the consent application B21-12-15 and 17-20 as advertised, subject to the following conditions. A, that municipal taxes be paid to date. B, that a reference plan of the consent shall be prepared and duly registered by an Ontario land surveyor, and one copy filed with the Secretary Treasurer of the committee. A draft copy of the reference plan shall be provided to the Secretary Treasurer for review and approval prior to registration on title, if applicable. C, that a copy of the electronic registration in preparation draft deed for the easement, if applicable, shall be provided to the Secretary Treasurer of the committee together with a signed acknowledgement and direction so that the consent certificate may be issued. And D, that all fees and disbursements, legal, engineering, and planning, if any, incurred by the township with respect to this application be paid for by the owner. And that E, that the conditions set out herein shall be completed within 1 year of the date of the decision of the committee. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you very much. The motion is carried and the application is approved.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I'm signifying my approval there, Tom, although you can't see me. So I voted for it.
Thank you, Member Ferguson. I have a further motion here moved by Member Matthews, seconded by Member Jarvis in regard to the minutes of our November 12th, 2021 meeting. Be it resolved that the Township of Georgian Bay Committee of Adjustment approves the minutes of November 12, 2021 as amended and circulated. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you. And Mr. Ferguson?
I am in favor.
Thank you. The motion is carried. And I have a final motion here moved by Member Kuchar and seconded by Member Caddo. Be it resolved that the Township of Georgian Bay Committee of Adjustment does now adjourn at 10:20 a.m. until January 14, 2022 at 10 a.m. or at the call of the chair. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand.
I am in favor.
Thank you, Member Ferguson. The motion is carried. Thank you very much, everyone, for your attendance today. And